almost 100% participation today, which is great. So the first thing I should ask is, are we live?
NCTV? Are we live?
They're muted.
Oh,
You're live.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, folks, welcome to the most popular show in Nantucket, the Historic District Commission. For the record, this is Ray Pohl. I am the chairman of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. First, let's get a count on who's present today. So members, when I call your names, would you please respond in the affirmative? Val Oliver.
Here.
Very good, Val. Welcome. Abby Camp.
Oh, thank you.
Here as well.
All right. Fantastic. Diane Coombs.
Here.
I know you're there, Diane. Thank you. John McLaughlin. John, I know you're out there.
I just unmuted him.
Okay.
John?
He's still muted.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, John. Are you here and present?
Yes.
I know you are. Okay, great. Thank you. Stephen Welch.
Here.
All right. This is the chair, Ray Pohl. For the record, I don't see Carrie on, but maybe she'll show up. So she's the only person missing. Okay.
And Jesse.
Sorry?
And Jesse.
Oops. You're right. Sorry. Oh.
Hey.
We haven't seen him in a while.
Okay, so
Well, it's busy.
Staff, when I call your names, please respond in the affirmative. Kathy Flynn.
Present.
Thank you. Holly Backus.
Present.
All right. Okay. This open meeting of the Nantucket Historic District Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with our beloved Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. That order, posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording, and we are being broadcast via YouTube on the town's YouTube channel. Excuse me. With no member of the public having asked to speak, this particular meeting will not feature public comment. Excuse me. Materials provided to members for this meeting or provided during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. And so please, everyone, remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called. You've all been doing that really well, by the way. And let's direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and make taking of minutes easier. Finally, votes taken at today's meeting will be by roll call. So, Kathy, unless you have any modifications to the agenda that we should all have in front of us, can I have a motion to approve that agenda?
So moved.
Thank you very much, Diane. On that motion, John McLaughlin.
Yes.
You're muted. Diane, well, actually, Abby Camp.
Aye.
Thank you. Val Oliver.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
Thank you. And let's see if John, are you in favor of the motion to approve today's agenda?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, John. And I'm in favor. So motion carries. Moving right along, do we have any public comment that was posted via email or anything that I should be aware of?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, very good. Consent agenda, I'm going to obviously need to recuse from, so I'm going to turn the mic over to Diane Coombs if I could.
Okay. Could I get a motion on consent 1 through 6?
So moved.
All right. Abby, thank you. Val.
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
John.
Is this for signs?
No, consent.
Consent. Okay, thank you.
Consent.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I am for it also. So that is 4-0 for consent.
Uh,
5-0.
Thank you, Diane, for
consent.
that. Now, John, you said something just now that has given me cause for concern. And that is, you asked if this was a sign application, and there are none on today's agenda. So I'm hoping that you have the most recent Thursday's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I did send it to him and I called him before the meeting, so he should have it.
Okay. The only reason I'm saying that is because he mentioned
Right.
something about signs, and there's no signs on this one. Okay. Moving right along, let's go to consent with conditions. I can be on this, so can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Thank you very much, Val. On that motion, Abby Camp,
Aye.
Diane Coombs.
Aye.
Thank you, Diane. John McLaughlin.
Aye.
Thank you, John. And Val.
Aye.
And I'm in favor, so that motion carries. Now, wow, we're on to new business. First thing up is a pool house at 11 Meadow Lane. Ethan, are you on board?
Yes, can you hear me?
We sure can, thank you.
Okay. So basically, it's a 300 square foot pool shed, 171 feet away from the road, and it is 11 feet high and in the highest point, the peak is 14 feet. Cedar siding, and the other side is a pergola.
So I know that Val is going to ask this question.
Yeah.
But I got to ask it too. I mean, this thing is so kind of
Bizarre.
Philip Johnson, you know.
I know.
Last
I know.
What does the house look like?
It scroll all the way to the bottom. The house is just your standard Quaker that.
Okay.
And that
So
would be in front.
what generated this? I mean, I gotta say.
The client.
Okay. All right.
And
that's
the reason
the answer then. The client. Yeah. Okay. Just I'm
The
curious because it's
Okay. The reasoning is because the house will be on the lot blocking then the pool driveway, all the pool fencing and plantings, and this will be 171 feet from the road in the back and not visible. And it's 11 feet high.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Let's see. Should I move it right along to the board members now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Well,
Okay. Yeah.
Hang on a second. So was that Abby saying yes?
Yes.
Oh, is it okay if I go with Val's question
Yes.
first?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Val, go.
The first picture in this packet has an orange flag. Is that where it's going?
First picture. No.
What is
No,
that?
that right there is has something to do with the property marking surveyor stuff.
Oh. Well,
It's
okay.
wide open though. Is it on this lot?
Yeah, it's the house is going in front. Then the pool, as you can see on the site plan, the pool is submission is already in. It's probably up next week. Then there's the driveway down the sides, and all the pool fencing and plantings will be on either side, so it won't be visible.
Okay. Was that a good answer to your question, Val?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would anyone care to comment on the application?
I will.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So I don't get it. I know you're saying we're not going to see it, but it's such a disconnect from everything else on the site. I don't think it's appropriate. And further, this has been happening a lot lately, and I just, for the public record, want to say, you know, people need to think about why they want to be here and why they want to own a house here. And they used to have respect for Nantucket. And I feel like now it's all about me and what I want. And this is not appropriate.
Thank you, Val. How about you, Abby?
Well, I think with a few changes, this would be all right. I mean, numero uno, I would say vertical siding to shingle. I don't know how that pans out with the pergola, whether that, very easily this could become a traditional cabana looking building. And I guess the client's concerns really aren't HDC. I mean, so for instance, that chimney, what kind of material is that?
It's just parged.
Parged?
Yeah.
Okay. And is it colored parged or is it natural gray?
I think it's gonna be not white.
White. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Val. This is too much of a disconnect, but I think with very few changes, you could get this to connect. That's what I got, Ray. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Abby. Diane?
I think that it is inappropriate for the area. I think that's one of our, wait a minute. I think it's inappropriate for the place. I think that it does not go with the surrounding houses. This is one of our major missions, is to take buildings and have them fit in. This does not fit in, and it's outside of what we as the HDC is supposed to do. I don't know how it can be brought into a regular pool house, whatever you want to call it. It somewhere, perhaps in New Jersey, it would be great. But as for Nantucket Island, I don't see it can be changed so it would be acceptable.
Okay,
Thank
Diane.
you.
Thank you very much. John?
Yes, I have a comment, Mr. Chairman. Number one, this is architecturally inappropriate, even in Alaska. This is not, has nothing to do with Nantucket, anything that's on that structure. You have you've got a 4-inch pitch on the east elevation looking at it. The south elevation's got too many slider doors, go down to 2. The chimney is weird. What is the material on the chimney?
It's
Parged cement, white.
hard concrete, yeah.
It's concrete.
Mm-hmm.
From the ground up, can they put it inside? Much rather than outside like that, standing wall of cement. I think very highly appropriate. I would suggest to haul this out, redesign and resubmit. This is not Nantucket.
Okay.
Probably in China, for all I know. But those are my comments here. This is not
right.
Nantucket style. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Yeah, I had a feeling maybe you'd say something along that lines, but yeah, it would look good in Alaska. I think it might look nice in Alaska.
Yeah,
actually, Ethan, you can tell your client that as an architect, I do appreciate this. And I mentioned Philip Johnson, but it actually reminds me a lot of the Barcelona Pavilion, which is a beautiful building, but it's beautiful in Barcelona. So I think you've heard from the board.
Yep, that's fine.
I don't have anything further to say. So good luck.
Yeah. Motion to hold for revisions, though.
Thank you,
Great.
Abby.
Thank you.
Thanks, and Abby, thanks for hustling it along and get it back today. So on Abby's motion, Diane.
To hold for revisions, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Diane. Val.
Aye.
Thank you. John.
Aye.
Thank you. And Abby.
Yes. Aye.
Okay. And I'm in favor, so that motion carries. Moving along now to Ben Norman's 3 projects on Miles Standish. Let's take a look at those. Actually, 4 projects, sorry. Oh, no. Three on Miles Standish and one separate. Okay, go ahead.
So my first application is the move off or demolish of this 1976 salt box on Miles Standish. We're actively looking for a taker.
Hey, Ben, where is Miles Standish?
It's in Surfside off of Nonantum, right across the street from Stones Beach. Or I call it Fisherman's Beach, but it's...
Yeah, right down there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
The sandy little road. It's a nice little sandy road.
Yeah, and you said, when did it date from?
1976 was when it was built.
Okay. I might actually look at that. So does anybody do we have any staff comments or anything before I ask board members about this? Maybe no.
Mr. Chair, I was just going to look it up on the NHL data. I don't have anything at the moment, but I'll let you know.
No, I can't imagine you're going to find anything, but just in case. So board members, who was that?
That was Abby. I think it's okay.
The move off demo.
Move off demo.
Okay, thank you. Diane?
Yes, there should be a garage. Is there a garage, Ben?
No, it's just one lonely building on the property.
Yeah, well, there used to be a garage there. This was one of my friends. If we could save it, it would be wonderful.
Okay.
But I would have to go for a demo.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Val?
I think it's fine.
Okay, how about you, John?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
On the Miles Standish, let me think a minute. I'm looking at it here on the computer. Here, in relation to being a moved demo, you know how I feel about demos, because once something is gone, it never can come back.
Right.
And the way I feel is that you can demolish it. No, you should move it. And if it gets damaged by weather or storms or fire, that's fine. But these bother me. They bother me for 20 years. Why we have a demo policy? If it's an old house and it's falling apart, I can see demoing if it doesn't have a substantial historic acclamations to it. And we gotta find a way that we can all meet together and have an open meeting and go through some of these regulations that we're using. They're all changing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. It sounds like we might have, I'm okay with the move demo. So I think we'd have liftoff if somebody could.
Motion to approve the move off demo.
Thank you very much, Val. On that motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
I think let's try to save it first. Hey, Mr. Chairman, I still have a question. Is that 90-day rule still in order now?
Yeah, it is. It is. So Ben is going to have to advertise this to move off.
Right.
That's a requirement. Yeah, that's still very much in place, and that's a building department rule. So
okay, I'll vote in favor. I'll vote in favor.
Okay, thank you, John. And let's see, I believe it was Val that made the motion. Are you in favor of your motion, Val?
I certainly am.
Okay, so am I. All right, so that motion carries. Ben, let's see your new dwelling.
All right. So in generally the same location, we're proposing a new main house. And then on the far back of the lot, we're proposing a cottage. And there will be a future shed coming towards you, but it needs a little bit more design work on my end. So.
All right.
So this is the front of the main house facing Miles Standish. trying to keep it as close to that 25-foot height kind of recommendation for the Surfside area work plan. I think I'm 25.5, 25.6. And a simple gabled form. So here we are looking at the south elevation. The second floor deck looks over, you can have water views, so that's pretty important to the design. East elevation is facing the neighbors, very heavily vegetated. Probably not an elevation any of us are going to look at all that often. And this is the north elevation, the view that the guest house will be seeing the most of. That's it.
Okay. Oh, could you just tell us what the colors are for kicks?
Yep. Oh boy. Siding's natural, trim is white, roof is natural, and windows and doors are white.
Okay. All right, Ben. Thank you. Board members. How about you, Diane?
Motion to approve this
Oh.
as submitted.
Okay, that's great, Val. I'm going to hold the motion just to make sure that everybody is okay with this as submitted. How about you, Diane?
I would vote for approval.
Oh, okay, good. Abby?
Aye.
Well, it's not official yet, but it's about to be. John, do you have any issues with this house as designed?
One, yes, I believe that on the west elevation, it shows that that deck is over the 8 foot.
I think you're right about that, actually.
That should be changed back. If we're going to stick to some of these things, haven't got many left.
I do hear you. How wide is it, Ben?
I think that projects out 11 feet.
Repeat that, please.
He says it's 11 feet wide, John.
Bring it back to 8 feet like we have to.
Ben?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I
Can you give us some sugar on this one?
I'm happy to please the board however they feel is appropriate.
Let's approve it at 8. If you feel like it's invisible or whatever, you can always come back. All right.
Okay.
Can I make a comment really quick?
Yeah.
I always thought in reading that book, Building with Nantucket in Mind, that the 8 foot was with regard to unintegrated decks that are just appended to the side of a building.
I agree with that.
Okay.
I'm not sure that that's like really specific. We should look into it. I think in this case, just sort of, I hear you.
To move it along.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
kind of where I am. So if Ben's okay to do it at 8 with the idea that if it's, not visible or very, difficult to see, we would certainly be okay with moving it out. But at the moment, I'd like to have, could you modify your motion to approve just pulling the deck back to 8 feet?
Sure.
Thank you.
Motion to approve pulling the second floor deck back to 8 feet.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Val. On that motion, Diane. You there, Diane?
Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't come through as my name.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
thanks.
for the motion.
All right, great. Abby?
Aye.
Great. John?
Yes.
Thank you. Val?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Motion carries. How about the cottage?
So the cottage is a much more reduced, simplified form of the main house. And I think cute as a button, but I'll leave it up to you.
I don't see
Motion
any.
to approve is submitted.
Yeah, I don't see any 8-foot deck there.
No second floor deck at all.
Okay. It's very simple and very handsome. I will say that. So Val has made a motion to approve this cottage. So I'm going to actually take that to a vote. How about you, Diane?
Aye.
Thank you. Abby?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Val?
Aye.
Thank you. John?
Mr. Chairman, which elevation is the front door? South or west?
The west. Although it's a pretty informal cottage, so it doesn't really have a front.
John, it's also behind the house that we just approved.
I understand. Thank you.
All right. Are you in favor of the motion?
Yes.
Thank you. And I am too. So that motion carries. That was the cottage. So I think that's it for Miles.
Yep.
Now we're going to take you over to 34 Westchester.
So 34 Westchester, this is the Richard Gardner the third house, built in 1722.
Oh my.
The main block was built in 1722, but the rear L that we are working on for this application was, that's the original rear L that was demolished and rebuilt in 1970 at some point, or demolished at some point, but rebuilt in what's there today in 1970. The house was very recently purchased by my client, the Hagedorns, from the Woodle family, who owned it for a very long time. Mrs. Woodle put the house into a very strict deed restriction through Historic New England. I don't know how long ago, in the 70s, maybe 80s, I'm not sure exactly when. We are working with Historic New England on all the restoration that's going to go on in the old portion of the house. And we've also gotten their blessing on what we're doing to the rear L that's in front of you today. It's out of their jurisdiction. It's off. The rear L is not in their deed restriction, but we wanted to make sure they were comfortable with it as well. As you scroll down, you'll see the proposal. It's no change to the massing, but we're revising some windows and adding a center chimney. And I'm sure Holly will mention, but we had a very good meeting with Historic Structures a couple weeks ago, and Historic Structures comments were that the brick to be used should be an antique brick. Penn Austin is involved in the restoration of this house, and she has a stock of Old English 1 3/4 brick that will be used for that chimney. Historic Structures Advisory Board also suggested that we use antique glass on all the new windows, which we are more than happy to do. And I believe that's it.
Okay. So, Holly, Ben stole
Mr.
your
Chair.
fire just now. Go ahead.
Yes, that's okay. But I can add that I have spoken to Historic New England, their preservation services manager who holds the preservation restriction. Ben is absolutely correct that the changes to the rear L are allowable so long as they don't impact the main historic 1722 structure. And obviously provided that you all approve the preservation restriction that's in place, which I believe was actually in the 90s, before Nantucket Preservation Trust really got off and way, and that's why it's not held by them, but by Historic New England. The main house and parts of the interior and the landscapes are mostly under the strict preservation restriction. So you've heard HSAB comments to use reclaimed brick and glass as requested, and I'm very happy to hear that Penn Austin is going to be working on this project. This is a very substantial, significant structure for Nantucket. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thanks a lot. Okay, board members.
I think it's completely appropriate, and I would move to approve it, but I know everybody else wants to say something, so I'll hold my motion. I can hold
your motion. But thank you for the motion, Val.
I'll go next.
Okay, thanks, Diane. Go ahead.
I approve of what they're proposing to do. I think it's in keeping, in the background, along with Penn, is very good.
Great. Abby?
On these little L's off the back, I tend to like those owls. But because I think this looks a little sort of tiny bit modern at the top. I'd rather see it corbelled or an owl. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby.
Can I make a mention of that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So that's the replica of the chimney cap that was on the rear L from the historic photos. So that we're actually replicating what was there probably 100 years ago. And yeah, you can see it in these photos if you'd like to take a look.
They were wrong. No.
Yeah, I know. As John would say, that all happened before the HDC.
There it is. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I'm
All
fine
right.
with it.
Okay. John, where are you on this one?
Fine.
All right. So Val has made a motion. I'm just going to run down the list. Abby.
Aye.
Diane.
Aye.
Thank you. John.
Yes, I'll comment also. There's a nice high hedge there. You can't see very much. Thank
That's
you.
correct. But you're in favor of Val's motion?
I just said yes. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Val, on your motion?
Aye.
I'm in favor. All right, Ben. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thanks. Okay. So next up, we have Axmart at 53 Meadowview.
What happened to Hadjidon? Is that off?
That's the
What's
one we
that?
just did.
That was the one we just did, John.
I
Yep.
got you. I got you. Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Tim. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a roof array here at 53 Meadowview Drive. It's 34 panels. It's new construction. It's going to be a black asphalt roof.
Mm-hmm.
The panels are only on the southern elevation of the property, which cannot be seen from Meadowview Drive.
Okay. Your phrasing is curious. Cannot be seen from Meadowview. Does that mean that it can be seen from somewhere other than Meadowview?
Let me expand upon that statement, Ray. It cannot be seen
Okay,
from a
great.
public way.
All right. Ah, I see. That little thing there. Well, no,
It can't be seen from Warmer Squid?
No,
it's on the back.
yeah. That's not the, that's the, I think, the old original structure that's shown in that satellite picture. The house, it's a new, it's new construction, and it's going to, I think it's probably a little southwest of that on the lot. And there's actually trees, as you can see.
Tim, is you have on your new construction, you have a gable sort of that runs north-south on the western side that's basically going to conceal, even if you could see it from over there, it's going to conceal everything. That little gable on the left-hand side. Yeah, okay. Let's just see how it goes. Who would like to begin on this one?
I will.
Thank you.
As the solar Nazi, I have no problem with this application.
Well, that's saying a lot.
I'll go along with that.
Okay, so why don't we should we do a motion?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, thanks, Val. So I'm going to put this through the vote. Diane, where are you on the motion?
Aye.
Thank you. Abby?
Aye.
Thank you. John?
I want to make a comment, as
Yes,
usual. It is outside the old HDC.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that it's out there and not in the old HDC. So I'll go along with favoring this, yes.
Okay, thanks. Val?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. That motion carries. How about 85 Millbrook?
So there we go. This is a 24 panel roof array going up on a secondary structure. The structure, likewise, the array cannot be seen from a public way. That's the only shot you've got, and you can see there's tremendous tree coverage of the southwesterly section of the property, or the south section of the property.
This is the Hummock Pond Road side of Millbrook, right?
Hummock Pond.
Oh, no.
No,
actually,
Nantucket.
yeah, okay. It's the Nantucket Road.
It's the time.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I totally know where this is. Yes. Okay, good. And it is heavily vegetated. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and
So,
for note, Mr. Chair, that ground array there was approved, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks ago on consent by the board.
oh, okay.
Thank you for that. I didn't get a chance to thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Motion to approve is submitted.
Ditto.
Okay, so Val has made a motion to approve as submitted. On that motion, Abby.
Aye.
All right, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
One question, does it have all the information required?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Now,
in favor.
John, you know, this is in the middle of the old historic district, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
just kidding. It's not. It's
He's
not.
teasing.
I'm teasing you.
Don't even do that.
I know I shouldn't. John, but you're in favor of the motion, right?
Millbrook Road, yes.
Okay, thank you. And Val, on your motion?
Aye.
And I am too, and I promise never to do that again.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate all your support.
No, okay, thanks, Tim.
It's not funny.
I'm going to mute because the next one is Lisa's. Okay, thanks, folks. Bye. Oh, and Diane, if you could share this, please.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Lisa.
Thank you. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
What you got for us?
So who do I have? Is Stephen going to join then? Or Carrie?
Steven's the only one here.
Okay.
Stephen is here.
Okay, great. So this is a renovation to an existing house and an addition that's on Western Avenue. That original house, and we have lots of pictures, is circa 1938. It's in horrible disrepair. It's under contract at the moment with my client who's interested in doing a significant renovation and obviously some additions to it, given the price point. You know, he needs to get more volume out of the architecture. So what we were proposing to do is to rebuild the house, but architecturally really keep a very similar profile to it. But it does involve raising the second floor roof and the porches. But I think at quick, you know, and looking at the way it's been designed, it really retains, the goal was to retain the character. The other part of the house is to demolish the existing garage, which I believe you guys have another application for, and move it back and connect it to the house. So the most significant additions are that we were adding a larger dormer to the west, where the chimney is coming out, in order to get a master suite up there and a bathroom. And then infilling the porch on the west side as well to get more interior space, but keeping the existing roof line. And then the garage gets demolished. We build the same footprint, attach it to the house, and then put a bedroom above that.
What? Can I ask you a question, Lisa?
Sure, of course.
On the old building, you have that porch.
Yeah.
That goes along the side of the building, going from Western Avenue down to the water.
Mm-hmm.
On your drawing that's going to be there, I don't see any porch.
The porch.
Or is that the porch on the?
Is that on the west elevation, Diane?
Yeah, west elevation. No, because the west.
So the west,
there's the one that goes down to. Okay.
So the west is on the right.
I see one.
As you're facing from the road. So on that side, we actually did infill a bit of the porch. We kept the roof line, but infilled a little bit of the porch to get some first programmatic area. But we returned it a bit, as you can see there. And then on the east side, we keep it open, but then we created that little link between the new garage mass and this building as sort of a breezeway connection.
Do we have a year how old this building is?
It's from 19...
Madam Chair?
Yes?
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to let the commission know that we did have this reviewed by HSAB, and I appreciate Lisa attending, as well as appreciating being able to be on the agenda for HSAB. This is a circa 1938 bungalow. It's been notated in the NHL data and the HDC survey that this was part of the Weeder Inn dining hall. So obviously it's significant within the area of Surfside. HSAB's comments were that it generally looks good. They appreciated the sensitive changes. Specifically, the west dormer is a little oversized, exposed rafter tail spacing to match existing. There was a conversation on that, and I'm pretty sure Lisa understood where they're going. It's looks like it's about 24 inches on center.
Yeah, and these are
but should be
together, Holly, so we would adjust that. That's correct.
Yes, and that would be a recommendation for that change, provided you all would want to approve. And then would like to see the trim color return to a dark green as original, or the cream as the later color that seems to be provided. You can see in the photographs, but not a white. I believe that was what was proposed. And then I believe that was pretty much the main comments. Again, this is a very sensitive proposal to a historic structure. So thank you, Madam Chair.
We did follow up with Angus. Was either Angus or Brooke suggested that I go down and look at Sand and Weed, which is Seward Johnson's building, which he said, architecturally is similar. And that is a combination of dark stash and a white trim. I don't think my client is interested in painting the whole thing dark.
Well, that's what I used to see it every day back in the day. How tall is the new building are you proposing?
22.8 on the west, and then the garage is 21.7. And I should
21.7.
Yes, the neighbor did write a letter that is in the file. He is at, and I believe we also sent some context photos into Holly as well. I think Tammy emailed them separately at your suggestion. It was either Kathy or Holly, I can't remember. And I think the interesting thing with the neighbor who is concerned about the second floor on the garage addition he actually did the same thing to his house on the opposite side, and I can pull up his drawings to show that. And the nice thing is that when you look at the context photos, right next to us on his piece of property is a single story addition. So it's not, there's some relief. I'm trying to say is there's a shed roof and then our tall structure, and then his structure is tall. So it's not two taller elements next to each other. And I'm happy to bring up those photos if Kathy doesn't have them.
Yeah, I don't think that they're saved in this PDF unless they're in the garage.
She suggested that she send them later, so I think she did them a couple days ago.
Okay, no, I didn't. I don't have those.
That was that separate PDF, Kathy.
I don't have that here on my jump drive.
That's picket fence. Lisa, that picket fence we just saw a picture of is the fence between 16 and 14, right?
That is, yes, that's the 16 and, which way did the numbers go? That might be the other direction. That might be 16 and 18. Because that's the western side of the building you're seeing right now. So that's on the right.
Yeah, because the
Madam Chair,
roof isn't so bad as the other one.
Madam Chair, through you. If Lisa would like to show them, she can. I just don't have them available on my jump drive at the moment.
If I can find them. Tammy's not here, but I should be able to. Let me make sure before I say that I'm
not at my desk either. So
yeah. So hold on. They should
Sorry about that, Lisa.
That's okay.
Okay, can we other board members go? Because
yep,
I actually have photographs to provide. I have them, Lisa.
Oh, you found them. Okay, great. Thank you.
I have the neighborhood contacts photos.
Exactly.
Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So there's a lot of taller structures out there. You know, the main focus of this was not to just blow this building up into what would look like a completely contemporary house, was obviously to retain some of the character. You know, I think a good example of what I wouldn't want to do is what happened to the little red roofed house that's right at Surfside Beach, where years ago they just kind of blew up the top floor and really changed the character of that building. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll find, let's see, you'll find the neighbors as you get closer. So there's
Thank you. All right.
Structures.
Stephen, are you there? Well, we'll start with Val.
Okay. I think I missed something. You're lifting up the walls on the first floor?
The walls are staying the same. Because the porch has to be rebuilt, we're lifting up the porch and therefore then the roof.
Okay.
But the first floor plate remains the same, so that we don't gain any first floor ceiling height. We just need it on the second floor to get livable space up there.
Okay. I think for the most part, I like it. I agree with HSAB about the dormer on, if you're looking at the north on the right, which I think is a bathroom. If that could be scaled back slightly, it just is sort of overwhelming, that elevation. And I do miss seeing a piece of railing on the front somewhere, but I think it looks great. And then my only other concern is the hyphen that attaches the buildings, because there's glass on both sides and you're going to be able to look right through that. Is there any way you could put some sort of a like a door that would slide over those periodically?
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea was to keep it light looking so that it really looked like, I know the issue, but our concept was to keep it almost like a glassed-in breezeway so that you had two distinct buildings that had been enclosed. That had been,
maybe if it was a door or all windows or something, the arrangement of the doors and the side lights maybe is what the disconnect is for me.
Okay.
All right. Abby?
Oh, could we leave that? Thank you. Could we leave that picture there for a second? Yeah, I appreciate the sensitive renovation to this old structure. I do miss the side porches as you're looking at the south elevation there. And I don't know how we can get that. I did think that, could we scroll down to where I guess it would be the north elevation where the garage is on the left?
Yeah. I think the south elevation you really don't see, Abby, because it's so far from the beach.
So, yeah, I mean, I really would like to see, I see what you've done there. I'd really like to see that porch on the right somehow put back onto the right. And on the left, I'm wondering, could that breezeway also look like the old profile? And I was thinking, if you had one door there with the connector, you could do crossbox on either side, like a wainscoting on either side of a door. So it wasn't such a glass looking through, if you catch my drift.
I mean, and yeah, I know what you mean.
So, that's all right. Let's get through. We've got John.
Okay, so I'm not finished, Madam Chair. I think that the garage is too high. It's sort of overtaking the main mass So I think that should be brought down so it's not in competition with the main massing. Thank you.
Thank you. Johnny.
Yes, thank you. This structure, as it sits now, has been changed a few other things over the years, and it has no architectural features actually in the overall building now. So, and anything's an improvement. Thank you.
Oh,
Madam
Thank
Chair,
you.
through you. Madam Chair,
Yes.
there isn't a butters letter that was sent to you all. I don't know if you want me to read it for the record.
Yeah, so
Yes, why don't you?
Okay, all right. It says, dear Mr. McCarthy, we are residents at 14 Western Ave and the abutting property owners at 16 Western Ave. We have reviewed the plans you sent to us December 1st. At this time, we do not feel the proposal is appropriate due to the proposed massing and aesthetics, as well as the fact that the garage addition will look directly into our bathroom. We urge the commission to request the applicants work with us to resolve these issues. Thank you for your listening to our concerns, and please let us know if you have any questions. Guy Madalone.
And that was
okay. Thank you.
so
Is Stephen here?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I had a little bit of a microphone issue.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I generally agree with comments to so far. I think in particular with respect to the north elevation, I was hoping the height of that garage would grow on me, but I think just proportionate in of it itself, it's not a concern, but proportionate to the width and the lower roof line of the main structure, it just stands out. Conversely, on the south elevation, because of the second floor, the little Juliet balcony, it is completely masked. The more narrow, upright verticality aspect of it is masked. Can we flip to the south, please, on the elevations? There you go, upper right-hand corner.
There you are.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
So are when you say it's completely masked, meaning you don't notice the verticality because you have that horizontal element? Is that what your comment is, Steve?
Yeah, sure. Sorry for not being clear if I wasn't. I think that Juliet balcony masks the perception of verticality, or it actually just puts it into better perspective relative to the main house.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Madam Chair, could I just reiterate something about that as we're talking about the garage? I see such a disconnect looking at this south elevation, the garage to the main mass. I don't know. It really doesn't connect. The connector connects, but the garage itself, it's just vertical, and it somehow either the roof line or something has to come down and sort of relate back to that the main roofing system.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. My view is I would like to see as much crossbuck walls as we can get. It is very typical of that building. It's what you used to spot as you drove along. Even in its decrepity, the crossbucks was always there. And I do think it's important to paint it the color, that dark green that it used to be. I think perhaps I would suggest, I don't know, getting rid of the second story on the garage. It competes with the house, and it doesn't seem to fit in, even though it's all architecturally the same. I think it should get to be one story. It is, let's say, a competition for the existing building, and the building is a 1938, and it is on our list an architectural entity, and I think we should try and preserve it as such. So that's what I think. Okay. I would like to get a
Can I just wrap up with
A
something?
motion?
Diane,
Yes,
Diane, can I wrap up with something?
yes, Lisa.
Yeah, so I appreciate
Yep.
the comments. I think, you know, he's in a contract to purchase this, not purchasing it. I think if he can't get the program he wants. So I think I'm going to work with the garage. I don't think it's going to work for this gentleman to make that single story. And which is a shame because I think anybody that's going to pay the money that the current owner wants for this structure is going to need to increase livable space up on the second floor. So it's going to want something there, but we can certainly look at the height and see if there's any way to mitigate that. But I think coming back with that as a single story.
Right, I don't know, just a single story, but see if you can work it around so it fits in and is not such a sort of sitting at the end. I don't know whether you can
we
do
have
the
some
crossbox somewhere to tie it in with the first floor of the main building or what.
Yeah, I'll look at that. We just have some
perhaps we should have a motion.
Setback issues and ZBA issues that we're also dealing with and Concom issues. So it's a tight site, but we'll take a peek.
Might not have to be that big, but I'll make a motion for revisions.
Thank you. Thank you. Abby.
Aye.
Stephen.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
And I also.
And I'm an aye.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Okay.
Oh, Val, I'm sorry, sweetie. I thought
No, that's all right. I'm an aye.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. So that's a full 5 ayes. So the next one is the the cottage, the garage that's there, move off or demo.
That's right.
I would motion to approve that.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Madam Chair.
Has anybody got it? Yes.
HSAB did not have any concerns on the proposed demolition of this garage. There was no date indicated on the HDC survey for it, but it's probably more contemporary than the main structure.
Yeah, I think that it is, being that it's more still holding together. Okay, so Stephen.
Yeah, based on the information. Based on the information provided, I'm an aye.
All right, Johnny, on the demolition
I agree
or
with
move
Steve.
of the garage. You say what?
I agree with Steve.
Okay, you go with Steve. Val.
Aye.
Abby.
Aye.
Alrighty, and I am an aye also. All right, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. Thank everybody for their time.
Thank you.
And that is the full 5 on the removal of the garage.
Thank you, Diane, for chairing that. So now we're along to 8 Ackermuck, BPC. Looks like we've got a couple there. We have anyone from BPC on board right at the moment?
Yeah, hi, Joe's here.
Hey, Joseph.
Can I, there's 2 applications. The next one, which is a pool, the main house has not been approved for that pool application. So I was hoping that you could just make a motion to hold it to track with the main house, which I think is, we had just submitted some revisions to the old business deadline. That's the next application.
Twist our arms. Okay, we'll do that for you.
Thank you.
Begrudgingly. Okay, so now let's hear about your move off demo.
Yeah, so this house was built in 1995. This page here has the overview of the building, all the photos. Then it was significantly renovated in 2004. Has a couple of these quirky little greenhouses off to the right of it. Not visible from the street. I think we talked about this when we reviewed the proposed structure on lot 1. It's at the end of Ackermuck on that treed lot. So we actually looked at renovating this at the beginning, but there's just, you would tear the building apart to renovate it. So we're proposing for the move demo.
Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Holly, do we have anything that needs to be said about this?
No, sir.
Okay.
No comments.
Thank you. Board members?
I'm okay with it.
All right. Want to make a motion, Abby?
Sure, motion to approve.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman,
Oh, yes, John.
thank you.
Yeah.
We're on move off demo.
Yes.
Okay. Could we get a shot at it, please? Picture of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was just up, John.
I'm sorry?
It was just on the screen. Hopefully Holly will be able to put it back up again for you. The building dates from, I think he said the 1990s.
95.
95.
Oh, okay.
The primary view is that north view in the upper left that is being circled right now. That's from the driveway.
John, I'll point out that the building that they want to demolish has a lot of casement windows in it.
It has what?
Has a lot of casement windows.
Oh, God.
A lot of
Yes, I
casement
should have-
windows.
I should have
Hey,
noted that.
Joe,
Yes.
are the greenhouses able to move?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. There's been some interest actually in detaching those greenhouses and have them go somewhere. So they're actually up for the taking. I know the realtor was interested at one point, but there's two of them. They're actually quite nice inside. They have a translucent roof on them and a fan, and I'm not sure what the substructure is.
Okay, that's all great.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But it's not necessarily germane to, I believe we have a motion on the table to approve.
Hello.
Oh, hi, Diane. I'm just saying that we do have a motion on the table to approve a move off / demo of this building. So if the greenhouses can go someplace, that's just great. But so on that motion, and I believe Abby made that motion, Val.
Aye.
Thank you, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, John.
Yes.
Thank you, Abby.
Aye.
And I'm in favor, so that motion carries. And so you just want to hold the second one, right?
Yes, correct. It would track with the main house for lot 1.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we just did that. We'll track. So did you say that the main house is already in?
The main house is already in. It was reviewed, and then we just submitted revisions to the last old business deadline.
Okay, now I understand. So Kathy, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Kathy, it sounds like what Joe would like to do is to take this item 11 and have it go with the now old business house that Joe's already in with. Is that something we can do through a vote somehow?
You could just say hold a track, that's fine, and I'll move it.
Hold to track the main house application, correct?
No, hold to track the pool and hardscaping, and then I'll add it.
Well, no, the pool and hardscaping is what we're voting on. So it would be to track the main
Right.
house.
Right, I just probably wasn't clear, but yes, track that with the main house and
So
all.
can somebody give me a motion that would basically have item number 11 tracking the main house?
So moved.
Thank you, Val. On that motion, Abby,
Aye.
Diane. I think you might be muted, Diane, maybe. Let's see. John, how about you? John?
Aye.
Thank you. Do we have you yet, Diane?
Do I have what?
No, I'm sorry.
Mr.
Diane.
Chair, I don't see Diane in the queue.
Oh, okay. Maybe she fell off. So I'm going to go, guys, remind me who made the motion.
I did.
Okay, Val, are you okay with your motion?
Yep.
And I am too. So that motion carries 4-4. Okay. All right. Now 119R Eel Point Road. Okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah.
So is Diane back? If not, I want to have Stephen sitting in on this. If he's still with us.
He's here.
Okay, great. And Diane is not, correct? Just for the record?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, here she is.
Oh, okay.
She just came back in.
You did. Okay. Okay. Thanks, Stephen. All right. 119 Eel Point Road. Diane, you're back, right? Are you muted? Oh, yes, Diane, you're muted, but you are back. Okay. Joe, go.
Yeah, I was hoping you could scroll back up to the site plan and locus just to give context. I mean, I know you just reviewed something next door with Brooke Meerberg a week or two ago.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, here's the locus. The plan is clouded, and we have the site plan. The site plan that's shown on this page is actually the existing footprint of the building that's there and the existing pool. I had that there as reference because our proposed house is actually going right on top of that existing footprint. We're not following it. We're actually making the house narrower. And then we also, not part of this application, but there will be a simple one-car garage on the lower left-hand corner on the location of the previous garage.
Mm-hmm.
All staying behind the 100-foot setback from the bluff. So we've tried to be mindful from that perspective of trying to keep our buildings behind that. Our eventual pool will be between the 50 and the 100, but so that's there for context. You can kind of see in the lower left that a lot of these houses sort of line up along the coastline there are a little bit closer to the bluff than this house will be. And given the height of the bluff, there's no visibility from the beach per se. And it's quite a distance from Eel Point Road, but so that's this page. The following page is a blow up of that existing footprint, because the next one, which is our proposed footprint, you can see that, yeah, there. So this is our proposed building, which is a gambrel, sort of an H-shaped plan. We wanted to keep the profile as low as possible. So the gambrel form was selected for that reason. The existing house, there is a set of, I saw the photo pop up. You've already approved the demo of the existing house, but the existing house has white, there it is, yeah. And the back side of that has, this is the back side of it. There's a couple of picture windows on the back and the pergola and the white trim and so forth. So our building, this overall width of this building is 95 feet. Our second floor width left to right, I think is 74 or 76. And following this are just some context photos, which I know you reviewed already with Brooke, but I thought I would include these as well, just so you can get a sense of the context, understanding you can't remember every house on the island.
I can.
So you can?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's it in terms of presentation.
Okay. So I guess we would want to go back to the elevations.
Yeah, I can walk through the elevations too. So these two, the front elevation, which faces the road, which is south, and then On the bottom is the west elevation, which is the side facing the neighbor. And then the next page, it would be that's the rear elevation that faces the water. And again, the perspective from the site section through this makes that not visible from, at least from walking along the beach. But again, I think it's in scale with, or smaller actually in scale than the properties that are immediately to the left and to the right and in the neighborhood in general.
Hey, Joe.
Yes.
I can't read this, but what is the height of the ridge against grade there?
27, is it 2710?
Yeah, it's 28 feet
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
28 feet high. Okay. Colors?
The roof is natural. The sidewall is natural. The trim is white.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And there's a couple of shingled posts. Those should be shingled down there. But
yeah, we see them. Okay. Board members.
I'm ready.
Okay, John, you go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Before everybody gets stepped on this building, I want to announce that in the past, when everybody now says it can't be seen from a street, but the law says, as we voted, from a street or traveled way. And then we went to town council, and town council made a directive and come up with it, and we changed it. And people don't realize when they say it can't be seen from the street, and they got to realize a travel way, as described by the town council, was we accepted the fact that he said a travel way is written in the law from Boston completely, and people have got to stop saying it can't be seen from the street. Also, the travel way, because in his description said that the travel way could be a driveway. It's a way of traveling. It could be a dirt road.
I know what.
John?
Yes.
Just to be clear on this particular, I agree with a lot of what you just said. But to be clear on this particular application, I don't think Joe is trying to pretend that this is not going to be visible from Eel Point Road or the beach. It's visible from both places, and I don't think Joe would dispute that. He's not trying to say it's invisible.
That's right.
Okay, just to be clear. But do you have any other comments on the architecture, John?
Architecture? No, I have nothing to say about this structure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Okay, thanks, Abby.
I was going to say, I appreciate the gambrel and the shed dormers. I think they keep the sort of, instead of a lot of gables, 3 gables pointing up at heaven, I guess. So this is, I like the subtler sort of shingle style. I think the front door, there's something called an eyebrow window. I wonder if you couldn't have an eyebrow roof over that instead of the clapboard mix. Do you know what I mean, Joe? Joe?
There is a curve to this. I thought you were going to say something about an eyebrow over the door and the flanking windows. Is that what you were alluding to?
I've seen. If you can watch my hand, it kind of goes up and then in it, but it's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think that would look less distracting than some clapboard boards in that sort of pediment look.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, and what is that thing on the top called? That cupola thing.
Like a monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a monitor, a little bit of a belvedere. I think I have a different feeling about it because it's in a gambrel and because the gambrel is so hunkered in that the roof shingles and these wall shingles, I feel like they would kind of marry together versus like a barn where you've got a cupola clearly just kind of plopped on top. So
I disagree with that, but do we want to hear what Abby has to say about it?
Yeah, do you? So maybe that could also be an eyebrow. Maybe that could be, you know how shingle style has a sort of a center characteristic. That could be, but I don't think that's working, the monitor. I think a lower, something inside the roof, again, incorporated into the roof material, like a just a slim eyebrow or something less demanding of the eye. Or I don't know why I'm saying this, thinking of a roof walk, something to break up that line. I know you're trying to break up that long line of roof, but I don't know the answer. So I just had some suggestions, but
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Abby. How about you, Diane?
I would like to see the east elevation if I could. That's the west.
Oh, east is, yeah, east is on the bottom.
There it is. Joe, is it possible to unmull some of those windows?
On the second floor, Diane?
Yeah.
Certainly.
I would appreciate that. I think it's too much fenestration for that east side. You have the north side going out to the beach, south side facing the road, and I just think that would be good, simpler if I could say that. Otherwise, I think that the basically the rest of it is pretty appropriate.
Okay. Thank you, Diane. How about you, Val?
Yeah, I think the massing is good. I agree. There's something about the monitor that doesn't feel quite right. I was wondering, Joe, what the vertical boards are on the little bump, probably a mudroom it is, and then above the front door. What's that material?
Yeah, it's a natural cedar. At least that's how I envisioned the mudroom, although above the front door, I envisioned those painted white, and it's hard to represent that in this drawing. Although I really like Abby's comment about kind of having the shingles flow to follow that curve on the front. So I think that would automatically change. I just wanted to create this, felt like an opportunity to create something interesting that was screened by the front porch. And I thought something different than shingles would be appropriate on this little bump. But it's not painted white.
Okay. And then my other question is, looking at the front roof, the second roof pitch on either side of the dormer, is that a different material?
Oh, you're looking at the front, that's the next page up, right?
I'm looking at it on my computer because I can't do it with them scrolling.
Yeah. This, it's all red cedar. It reads different because that's the steep pitch versus the shallower pitch. So you're seeing the graphic change a little bit, but that's all red cedar from the first floor eave all the way up to the main ridge.
Okay. I just asked because we had a gambrel a while ago that did two different materials. And I saw in the application doors are going to be light blue. Do we have any sort of maybe picture of that color?
Yeah, you know what? The house that they really love actually is the blue house that's on the way to the galley, that blue. So I have it as light blue because I didn't reference that color specifically, but it's
you should just fill that one out and be more specific because there's a lot of light blues out there.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And then one last question. I'm sorry. Just it's a material thing too. On the front facade, which is south, the little bay or window on the right. has it's got a wavy shingle pattern. Is that just natural cedar shingles that are formed, or is that a painted scenario in the gables too?
Yeah, all natural cedar. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just a scalloping, yeah.
Thanks, Val. Okay, so Joe, I have a little bit more to say about this, mainly I think because I have this thing about gambrels. So if we start here on the south elevation, I'd love to see something happen to the monitor. Either it goes away or, as Abby says, becomes a roof walk or something, but it just looks very sort of, it's difficult because that roof, the eave of that monitor roof is not above the ridge line. It's like at the ridge line, which means that the monitor is actually sort of like punched down into the roof of the building, which is not even how a monitor works. That's one thing. The other thing is like, what's the distance, what's the length of that ridge between those two side gambrels? Looks long. Is it 50 feet? You don't need to answer that right now, but it is long. The third thing is the gambrel. I understand why the bottom chord of the gambrel has a very steep roof pitch, which is looks like 48 and 12. Is that what that says?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know, that starts getting to be into what the roof form called a mansard, where that bottom chord is so steep, it's almost vertical. And that's what I'm feeling about this. I'd rather have that, let's call it a reverse 4 and 12. I'd rather have that become at a minimum a reverse 5 and 12, or optimally a reverse 6 and 12. But now if we could look at the, I also don't love the sort of roof over top of the front door. But now if we could turn to the east elevation, the one that Diane was looking at. I mean, I agree with Diane on the whole breaking up of the windows, but I also think it's a really long dormer. And I again question like the length of that ridge. It almost looks like 50 feet to me, you know, at least. So, and then back to the changing of the bottom chord of the gambrel, all this shingle space that you have, don't move. Go back to the east, please. Thank you. So you have a ton of shingle space sidewall shingle space underneath of the windows there. That dormer could feel more like the dormer facing south if you simply pulled out the eave overhang on the bottom chord of your gambrel. You know, you'd have more roof sloping up to that. So that I think would make that dormer look better. I'm also in favor of having it broken up and, you know, to Diane's points about the windows. That's it for me. So should we make a motion on this?
Motion for revisions.
Okay, that I believe came from Abby. Thank you, Abby. On that motion, Diane? Let's try Val.
Aye.
Aye.
There's Diane. Okay, thank you, Diane. Val? Yes, aye.
Yep.
John? John?
Opposed.
Oh, okay. It's for revisions, but I'll note you down as opposed. And Abby, I believe you made the motion?
I did. Aye.
Okay, you're in favor, and so am I. So that motion carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed. Thank you. Should we, okay. Hey, guess what, Joe? I think we have to get the pool to track.
Okay.
So we can have a motion from the same board members to track the pool, because we got a hard stop at 2:30, and I know that Kathy wants us to look at the agenda at the meeting schedule and approve that before we.
Motion to track the pool.
Thank you, Abby. On that motion, Val Oliver.
Aye.
John McLaughlin.
What was the motion? Repeat it, please.
The motion is to have the pool track the main house.
Thank you.
Thank
in favor.
All right, great. Diane?
Aye.
Thank you. Abby?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm in favor. So folks, whoever is online right now, we're concluding our normal business and we're going to other business at the moment. Everything else I believe will be carried over to, what is it, Monday or Tuesday of next week, Kathy?
Tuesday.
Tuesday of next week, okay? That's that. Thanks, everybody. And now if we could just direct our attention to one little bookkeeping thing on other business before we adjourn. And that is what you see on the screen is our proposed meeting schedule for the new year.
Yeah, and I have some reservations about skipping a week every month.
I do too.
Well, I do too.
I think it's nice because trust me, I would like to not have to be at a meeting, but I think unless there's some significant changes made to the way we do business, we're going to be so behind. It's ridiculous.
Kathy, go. I know you want to say something.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I just wanted to say that it's out of our control. It's due to town meeting and more regulatory boards.
No, I'm sorry. I disagree. Like, so we have this week of January 11th where there says no meeting, but on Friday we're scheduled in for a toolkit presentation. I don't quite know what that is.
Mr. Chair, that was from Holly. That's for Resilient Nantucket.
Oh, okay. So all three of those things that I'm looking at, toolkit, draft guidelines, final guidelines. Okay. So seriously, we cannot have a meeting of those weeks other than on Friday?
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Please, Stephen, please.
Okay. So Kathy, I was just trying to suss through this and maybe come up with some options because I agree that we're just drowning, and I know you guys are too. But we're not only going to be drowning, we're going to, if we can't catch up, we're going to have, some concrete blocks on our heads at the same time.
Exactly.
So illustrations aside, I went online and ZBA is not scheduled to meet on the, I think it worked out that the Tuesday of January, the 12th, the 9th of February, and the 9th of March, there's no scheduling conflicts in their printed schedules. So I don't know why. I guess I was just, so having looked at that, I was trying to figure out why we might have a problem with scheduling, and I didn't have the answer because we hadn't all had a chance to discuss it. So don't hold me to the particular dates, but the point is that for either the Monday or the Tuesday of each of those weeks, nothing is scheduled for that day for the planning board or the ZBA currently.
For what dates are those?
I don't have them in front of me. I wrote them down, but give me a second.
Hey guys,
Monday the 2nd.
Is jumping in here. Unfortunately, we do have to cut the meeting sharp in about 10 minutes because we have another meeting.
Oh, we'll be wrapped with this in less than 10 minutes. I promise.
Okay, thanks.
So
I think the meeting is 1/11, Stephen, that I think you're talking about. It says no meeting. The next one is February 8th, no meeting. And then March 8th, no meeting.
So if I may.
So we need to have meetings.
January 11th is planning board at 4, and then ZBA's on the 14th from 1 to 4:30.
Right, but the Tuesday, the 12th, there's no one scheduled.
Which is our usual
the airport.
day.
It's the airport is at 5.
I mean, there's
are we not
no other times that we can do this?
I can, sorry, Mr. Chair, through you, I can email Erica. I know that Fridays are always wide open, and I can see what else is available at night or during the day, but I have the schedule in front of me and all the nights are taken other than what we have.
What do you consider to be night? Like 4:30 to 9?
Anything from 4:30 on has been taken. I can see what's available during the day and get back to you all. But I know that that's problematic sometimes.
Yeah, because we have to work. But the problem I'm having is we always were Tuesday. Tuesday night was HDC night. Now all of a sudden we're all over the place like we don't matter. And I know we don't matter because it's becoming evident. But This is crazy. Why are Tuesdays not available to us?
So Tuesdays, the first two Tuesdays of the month are school committee and airport.
What Val is saying is like, how did they manage to get our slot?
I do not know. That was through town administration.
Okay. The other comment, I'm sorry, Kathy, thank you for number one, thank you for clarifying, because I didn't, based on the conversation the other day, I didn't anticipate airport was part of the discussion. Where I'm having a little bit of a problem understanding is that, for instance, December 15th, just the other Tuesday, the Harbor and Shellfish Advisory Board is scheduled at 5 p.m. on a Tuesday, and we started at 4:30. So
I'm sorry, I believe that they're a town committee, correct, Holly? I don't know. They might be a recorded meeting.
Yes, they are.
I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
so it's just like your Capcom is recorded.
Right.
That falls into the same category, which is different. That's not regulatory.
Okay, so I trust in you that you are working. We have a couple minutes, Diane. I'd like to finish my comments, please. I think they're relevant, and I'm trying to short circuit this in the future. Kathy, I trust in you that you'll be working on this. I wasn't second guessing you. I was trying to figure out if I could help. Number one. Number two, I think we need to put in our requests. I respectfully request to the commission that we put in our request to meet on Tuesday for the rest of 2021 tomorrow.
Yep.
So that we're on the calendar in advance and this is resolved. So we're not, I understand. Around. Yeah, I understand there's a competitive nature because there's a limited resource, but we are literally a adjudicatory board reviewing applications that are holding up work across the island. And my concern is that that is problematic given other aspects of COVID and weather and so on and so forth. So I would ask that we submit as quickly for as long as possible. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. I totally agree with everything you just said. Diane, you've been wanting to say something.
No, I think that we are an important enough commission to be able to be on and have some of the other school committee or whatever meet at a different time. They're not on for the length of time that we are, and nothing can be done that we don't approve of.
Right.
So we're handing it up. We know what happened the last time we held up 3 meetings. It took us a month to do the agenda. We can't do that.
Yeah.
Could I make a move that our chair write a letter to the town saying, something along the lines of what Stephen said and Diane said?
Yeah, that's fine. But I think also at the end of the day, Kathy's going to do a little bit more digging now that she knows the sentiment of the board on this issue.
But I think it's important that they realize where we're coming from.
Yep. Agree.
Just don't understand why it changed. We had a very consistent Tuesday night, and I get COVID when there's an emergency, but this is ridiculous.
And I would only further suggest on Abby's suggestion, Mr. Chair, if I may, it doesn't necessarily, I would suggest it doesn't have to be a formal thing. People are in their own avenues and lanes trying to get their work done, and maybe it's not recognition of the workload as opposed to as an oversight, as opposed to not recognizing it in terms of acknowledging the diligence and all the importance. So I think if it was just an informal thing versus a formal letter, we want to make sure our chair knows that that's his avenue.
So we're going to put Abby, are you okay with that sort of altered language there?
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a mean letter. It's a statement.
No, I know.
That what we do and that we had the slot and
actually,
what to say.
It's going to be an informal mean letter. That's what I'm saying. So I want to, Abby, I want to put it to a vote because they're going to
cut us off.
Yeah, they're going to shut us off. Okay, so on Abby's motion, Diane.
Aye.
Thank you, Val.
Aye.
Abby.
Aye.
John.
Mr. Chairman, I have before you shut down, you had your 2 minutes. I'd like to have 2 minutes before we vote.
John, they're seriously going to shut us down like in 30 seconds. So you need to finish the vote. I'm sorry.
I'd like to say something quick, okay? The
Okay,
reason we got
everybody,
this problem
we'll make it
is
cut
probably
off.
here. I'm sorry?
John, you need to vote. We're going to run out of time.
They're going to shut
Thanks
us
a lot.
down,
I
John.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, real nice. That's what's wrong with this commission.
John, we literally are going to be shut off with the vote hanging in the air to fix the problem that would allow you to talk. Could you please vote? I beseech you.
Just
I'll
vote
wait
yes.
next meeting. I'll have something to say the next meeting. I need some time.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. I'm in favor of the vote. The motion carries. Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
So moved.
Make the motion.
Okay, so Abby has made the motion. On that motion, Val. Uh-oh. I think are we shut off?
Probably. Do you hear
I'm
me?
an aye. Val's gone.
Abby's
I'm
an
an
aye.
aye.
Diane's an aye. I'm in favor.
Aye.
Sorry, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.